double coverage.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Double Coverage. We hope you're still living, loving, and breathing sport. I'm Dom with the great man Sauce. How you going?
Domma, we're back. Another
We're
episode.
back.
Show
Almost.
35. Did I nearly blow you away with the excitement in my voice?
I almost forgot the bloody intro. I've only done it 50 times.
A lot of action happened in this past week. Also, obviously across the hobby and sports hasn't stopped. We've actually on the precipice of some sports actually coming back. Some AFL footy, which is around the corner, not far away, and the NBA is rolling along, as we said, and one not to miss this weekend, Sunday. Tune in, where we've got 3 UFC 259, ladies and gentlemen. If you aren't aware of it, well, now you are. UFC 259, 3 title fights on the cards, Domma.
3. And of course, the headliner will be Arasanya versus Blackwitz. So we are looking forward to that one. But as you did mention, AFL's around the corner and F1's around the corner, coming up at the end of the month. So that will come back onto the running sheet for the podcast in the next few weeks, which will be good sauce, a bit more sport to talk about. And of course, we've had some more card products release as well in the last couple of weeks. So we'll cover those when we get to Hobby Talk. But we'll get straight into it, as we always do, with NBA to lead the show with the standings in the East. Philly still on top. Brooklyn half a game behind them now. Milwaukee in 3rd. Boston up to 4th. Toronto in 5th. New York in 6th. Miami 7th. Charlotte 8th. Indiana 9th. Chicago 10th. Atlanta 11th. Cleveland 12th. Washington 13th. Orlando 14th. Detroit 15th. Over in the West, Utah on 27 wins. 8 losses in 1st. LA in 2nd, Phoenix in 3rd, Clippers in 4th, Spurs in 5th, Portland in 6th, Denver in 7th, with probably the MVP of the league at the moment. Golden State Warriors with the chef in 8th, cooking up a storm. Memphis in 9th. My boy was back in full flight today, so full flight for the Grizzlies. Dallas 10th, New Orleans 11th, Oklahoma 12th, Sacramento 13th. Houston 14th, and the Minnesota Timberwolves are last still with the worst record in the NBA, 7-28, in 15th in the West. So, Saucy, anything stand out to you over the last week with any of these teams, either conference? If not, don't worry, we've got a lot of content here. Anything there?
Yeah, look, Domma, there's we're rolling along. We're figuring out the pretenders from the contenders, as we like to say. And look, just Lakers 4-game slide. Don't worry, I'm not worried at all. We're missing Schroeder, missing Davis. Just got to get those guys back to health. And we can still definitely push for the top 2 seeds there. Everyone thought the Clippers were flying. They ended up losing today to Boston. Boston actually on a 3-game winning streak, so they've won their last 3 over the Clippers. Washington, not impressive there, where they only won by 1 point, and then beating Indiana. But one thing notably in those games is Kemba Walker's actually starting to play a bit of the Kemba Walker basketball that we know. That he has the ability to play at. 25 in the win today, 21 in the win over Washington, 32 points in the win over Indiana. This is the Kemba Walker that the Boston Celtics need if they are to have any shot of coming out of that East. 100%. Although I'm going to go on the record right now saying they are not making it out of the East. I'm 100% confident saying that. I just don't see enough there from the depth past the 3 main guys that they have enough ability to trouble the big boys in the Eastern Conference. Another thing to note is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Although the Bucks are struggling a bit, where are they sitting on the stands? I think they're 5th, third, right? So not flying like they have been in the last sort of 2 seasons, but Giannis, let's talk about him in a hobby sense. Not really getting much love at the moment.
No.
I was actually looking at picking up a Giannis Panini rookie card that at one point was selling a BGS 9.5. At one point was selling for around about $800, Domma, and they're $700-800, and now they're about $400. And I was trying to get one for about $300. We'll see if
Yeah.
I'm going to make a counter off to the guy, so maybe he'll meet me in the. I said $300, he won $400. Maybe he can meet me in the middle of $350. But I just think a great opportunity to buy some of these Giannis cards, because as this hype leads up into the playoffs, where Bucks are going to be one of the main features in that Eastern Conference, no doubt about it. There could be a really good arbitrage opportunity. So, if you're not a Giannis collector, but you see the opportunity to buy these Giannis cards, that some of them, being on a real low, haven't been this low for a while. So, it's just an interesting aspect. But when you have a look at his statistical output, Domma, well, he's averaging 29 points. He averaged 29.2. He averaged 29.5 last year. He won the MVP.
Yeah.
He's averaging 2 less rebounds. That's fine. He's averaging 0.3 more assists, so 5.9 assists a game. He's averaging 0.4 blocks more per game and 0.2 steals more per game. His 3-point shooting still leaves a lot to be desired, shooting at only at a 28%. And his throw shooting is improved from last year by 3%. So statistically, in terms of what he's actually doing, Domma, it's pretty much the same. It's pretty just business as usual. He's dominating. 38 points he put up in a win the other day against I can't remember exactly the team, but he was absolutely clinical. I think against the Pelicans, where he outplayed Zion in that game. And that's another guy that I'd love to talk about. And I love to talk about every week on the show, Zion.
I know you do. We did have a catch up last night, and you were replaying that game, and my God, jeez, the way he was carrying on when Zion gets the ball, old Sauce over here, he's just embarrassing, to be honest. He absolutely loves this guy. But Giannis, I completely agree with you. As you know, and as people in the hobby know, and if you don't know because you're new to the hobby, once it comes to playoff basketball, the hobby becomes its own little bubble around playoff basketball, and prices of cards of the guys playing playoff basketball just ebb and flow like crazy based on game-based performances. So Giannis could be 300 now, or 350 or 400 that Source gets it for, and he could be dropping 3 games in a row, as we saw with Lillard in the bubble. And Giannis, all of a sudden, he's worth $1,500, and it could be the perfect opportunity for him. You know that he's going to be good for the Bucks, regardless, and he's going to stand out. So, yeah, I reckon it's not a bad purchase. He's gone down a lot. It's a bit of a fall from grace for Giannis in the hobby, to be honest. We've gone from his one of one logo man rookie that's $1.1 million. You reckon that card's still worth that much money, Source? If we have to go,
if we have to go by how his market's going at this current point in time, mate Rizzo Sports sold that absolutely at the perfect time when the hype was around at the beginning of the season with Giannis. So. Yeah, it's an interesting aspect. So I just think it's one to look at, and you're saying Giannis because he's one of the big boys in the hobby, if to put it that way, in terms of fan base and potential to go on to be a great player of the NBA. But there's so much opportunity, and I've actually found myself picking up quite a few cards today on eBay. I've been quite active, and just
you definitely have.
And just the steals that I'm getting, the prices of these modern guys, where there was points last year in the release and things where these cards were going at these prices, and they were raw. I'm picking up graded cards for the same price that some of these cards were literally selling for raw not too long ago. So
100%.
I'm relishing in this massive dip of the modern market. I think there's a big play at hand, which we'll mention a bit more later on in the show.
Definitely. All right, moving on a bit. Just a bit of news. Lloyd Pierce fired from the Atlanta Hawks. So their manager's gone. They have severely underachieved based on what everyone, including us, thought was going to be the Atlanta Hawks in the season preview. Also, Ben Simmons is now the #1 rated defensive player in the NBA. So that is a very big positive. As I said last week, Brooklyn can be an offensive juggernaut. But when it comes to playoff basketball and those guards actually have guys guarding them, like Ben Simmons, so you've got guys like Harden and Kyrie that have Simmons guarding them, it's going to be a lot tougher. And obviously, Embiid is a great defender as well. So when they're attacking the paint.
Yeah, and
So
the hobby has picked up
Harris,
on his great
Tobias
play,
Harris is not
Domma.
a bad.
The
Yeah.
hobby's picked up on
So,
his great play as just at the end of
where?
January there, his
Where?
price on his PSA base 10 Prism PSA 10 was around 330. It's now back on the uptick up around the 450 mark. So people are realizing and admiring Ben Simmons' great play. He's one of the few guys in the modern market that is actually in the last month he's up 47%. So
And he's one of the very few guys that plays elite defense.
So he's
So
getting the hobby love at the moment, Benny Simmons, and
Rob
if you were
and
ahead of the
Robertson.
curve once again when he wasn't performing early in the season, back in January, picking up his cards, you could have been picking them up for half the price what they are now, and that was your arbitrage opportunity to pick it up for 350,
100%.
350, and sell it on, make
No,
$100.
completely agree. In other news, just before we get to the main topic, so Sauce can just get a bit excited. He's going to probably get upset here because he loves. If there's a guy that Sauce and I love very, very dearly, it is the great man Chris Bosch. C Breezy, uh, Jay Williams. You were a contender for Le Mans of the Week, but then I said to Sauce, you know what? You can't be a Le Mans of the Week when you're just a lemon. Full stop. You're just a Le Mans every week. He came out and he said that this season, Julius Randle, his season so far, is better than any other Chris Bosch season in his career. Um, I think people forget that the, I don't know, the sacrifice that he made when he went and joined the Big Three in terms of his game. He changed more from like the main guy when he was at Toronto, which he was a 20-10 guy, and he carried that team. He was a monster, to becoming more of a role player, but also the third option and a very good third option, mind you. I think people sort of just forgotten Chris Bosch at Toronto, how good he was, and how good he was before he got the clots after LeBron had left Miami. He had a few 40-point games in there, and then he got unwell, and then obviously his career got cut short due to health issues. But I think people are just forgetting that. Just go do your research, go look back, and have a look at how good Chris Bosch actually was. Severely underrated. I don't care. Randall is playing good. I'll give him credit. I'm very high on Randall. I think he had a lot of potential when he got drafted, and I was very high on him. Obviously, I'm pretty sure he had a broken leg when he came into the NBA. I'm pretty sure Julius Randle, when he went to the Lakers, and they didn't have him for a year. And obviously that stunted his progression. But he did have the ability because he dominated in college. And I don't know. He is a great player, good piece for the Knicks, but he's
I
no
just
Chris
want to
Bosh.
remind people that Chris Boss was actually averaging 24 points and 11 rebounds when he decided to take that move and take his talents down to South Beach. So, if he stayed in Toronto, he could have been averaging, 24, 25 for the rest of those years. But obviously going to a team, you're taking a lesser role where you got LeBron James, D Wade,
And Wade.
to sacrifice to win championship. Of course, you're going to take less of a role, and that's actually cost him because he's in his career. He's now ended, 19. He's ended 19.2 points per game, and short on 10 rebounds over his career. But that was mainly attributed to the fact that he took a lesser role when he went to Miami. One thing that he did do at Miami, he took a few more threes, and towards the later part of his career was actually not a bad 3-point shooter. In his last 2 years, where he didn't play that many games, but he was shooting 37% from three. So I just think people need to come off it a bit. And what's his name? Whoever said that comment about Julius Randle. Julius Randle, this is being better than any season Chris Bosh had. Well, Chris Bosh actually had a season quite similar in terms of numbers back in 2009, 2010 when he played his last year in Toronto, and even the year back before that. The difference is, where Chris Bosh was the guy, he did it over a 5-year period where he averaged over 22 points a game. Julius Randle, on the other hand, has yet to average 1 year over 22 points a game, and that year could be this year. So it's all great that he's playing well. Good on Julius Randle for having a breakout year, making the All-Star team. I believe he made the All-Star team on the bench.
Probably.
I think I stand to be corrected. But it's about how you do it consistently year in and year out, not just show up 1 year and then next year you're back to your average ways. So let's hope it's onwards and upwards from here for Julius Randle. He has improved his 3-point shot a hell of a lot, Domma. Shooting it at 27% last year, he's now shooting it at a 42% clip.
That's good.
So props, Julius Randle. You've stepped it up this season, but what we want to see is, ongoing. I seen the talent early days in the Lakers.
In LA,
I was a little bit disappointed that we got rid of him. I thought he could be like that sort of a Lamar Odom type, tall guy that handles the ball really well, left-handed. Very similar, can shoot the three. I've seen him developing into that point, but it's just, he didn't work out with the Lakers. I mean, it doesn't really matter now. We got a championship without him, so I don't feel that bad. But let's hope. Let's see if you can do it next year. All great, do it this year. Get the Knicks to the playoffs. Get some playoff experience and come back next year and do something similar. Because then, if that's the case, then he has this stretch where he goes on like that for the next four years. Well, then you could say that Julius Randle potentially fulfilled his potential as an NBA player.
Definitely. All right. I'm not going to stop you from talking. I want you to get into it some more. Now, before we finish up this segment, let's talk about your boy Zion. We said to the listeners and the viewers last week we're going to talk about him this week. You've been seeing something for Zion. You've said it for a few weeks now. He's been absolutely disrespected when it comes to a modern day player in the hobby. Tell us what you're seeing, because if you don't know, a fun little fact about Sauce, he's a huge Lakers fan. He watches every Lakers fan, and surprising enough, the team he watches second to the Lakers, and barring probably about 5 or 6 games this season, he has watched every single Pelicans game. So you can effectively say that the Pelicans are his second team in the NBA. So you've seen something, you wanted to address it. I'm not comparing him to Ja Morant. We're not getting into that. That's probably like in 10 pods time when I feel like talking about it. But Ja did play well today at 35, 5 rebounds and 10 assists. But Sauce, his consistency, which I've noticed too, has been unbelievable. But what have you seen, the optics of Zion? Give us an insight.
Just his absolute amazing ability to get to his spots whenever he wants. Watching a game, he passes it off at the top of the key. He's on the corner of the 3-point line, and he passes it off to the top of the key. As soon as he passes it off, he makes a cut to the middle. Lonzo kicks the ball to him in the middle. He literally he fakes to go right, stops, pivots, turns left onto his dominant hand, drives, literally skips past 2 guys inside the lane and just goes up. He draws the foul. He didn't finish the and-1, but the ability to literally, one pass into the center and pretty much just Zion done the rest. He beat 1 guy off the cut, he beat 2 off the dribble, and then he was able to draw the foul. And you see this ability of his to be able to just draw the foul, and finish at the rim And, people are going to go, they're sort of doubting how the other things that Zion can do. You know what I mean? Like, is he an average defender? Yeah, he is an average defender. But how many, average defenders are there in this league? There's a lot of them, and that doesn't mean that you don't get the love for people in the hobby in actual fact. But he has to develop his game a little bit more. In terms of being able to make some shots, but these are the things that I've seen him do. If you've watched his games, you've seen him take a mid-range jump shot. You've seen him the ability to hit threes. Like, I mean, he's only hit 6 threes on the season, and he's not shooting the 3 ball at an amazing clip. I mean, he's shooting the 3-point at 31%, which is not amazing. But you have a look at his shot, and it's not like it's an ugly shot. It's got nice form. He looks, it looks somewhat smooth. Obviously, he's shooting 31% because it's not fine tuned yet. But these things will come in with time. The guy's only 20 years old. Does he need to slim a little bit and potentially look after his diet a bit more? Yes, and I think this is the biggest issue with Zion overall, because not for anything, if you want to take your game to the next level, you have to refine those things such as your diet, your training. We've seen the upper echelon of talent, the way that they look after their body. The Tom Brady's, the Lebrons, Russell Wilson, and all that sort of stuff. So getting the sports scientists involved, getting the dietitians involved, not eating too much fried chicken and Chipotle or whatever the hell he likes to eat over there. Carl's Jr., I don't bloody know. But yeah, it's just that's the biggest concern I think about for me with Zion is getting that part of his health, his health part under wraps, and it's more to do with his conditioning, because once you get those things, then you're able to take your game to the next level. But in terms of his ability to get to his spots on the offensive side of the ball is unbelievable, Domma. There's literally no one that can stop him in the NBA. And I'm being honest with that. Is when he gets the ball and they run this bit of motion and he gets the ball at the top and they do a dribble handoff and he gets the ball on the move, there is no one that can stay in front of him. No one.
It's like a LeBron James early years where he used to just charge straight through people to the ring.
And they've started to play him now in more of a point forward sort of role where he brings the ball down the court. So they're actually, giving him decision making and passing, and we can have a look at his numbers over the last few games where he's averaging more than 5 assists, which is really good for him. Early on in the season, not getting too many people involved, but you just have a look at his consistency, Domma, over his last 10 games. It's just, it just sticks out. So we do need to see improvements on the defensive side of the ball. 100%. Where his defensive rating isn't the best. He's got a defensive rating of 117, which is not the best, but New Orleans Pelicans themselves as a team aren't the most defensively sound team. So a lot of that has to do with the team. Zion has to get a little bit better, but I just think he's got everything he needs to be good. It's now about his application.
It's refining.
It's about his application to his craft, his application to himself in wanting to be the next generation, the next face of the NBA, the next, potential, if he sees himself as a potential GOAT, as you could say.
Yeah, greatest ever.
And if you want to get to that point, you have to look at the guys that did it before you and see the work and everything that they put in and decide, do I want to get to that level? And if you do, well, you better start putting in the work. So that's where it comes down to it. In terms of the raw ability and the talent, he's got it.
It's a gun.
And that 3-point shot, it's gonna come. It's gonna come. He's not a Ben Simmons where we just keep it. It's gonna come. It's gonna look. Every off season, he's gonna keep working on that jump shot. He's gonna keep working on it, and it's gonna come. Don't worry about that. And when you
Completely agree.
when you have that body and that size, he'll keep working on his back to the game, back to the basket game, and development will come. So I just think, just please, if you've judged Zion too quick, go back and have a look, watch his games. He's 20 years old, yeah? Don't forget. He's 20 years old.
Yeah, and the thing as well about his defense, and stuff is like he's only a season and a half into his NBA career.
Not a season. He's only 60 games in, Domma.
Oh, 60 games. There you go. So, come on. I've definitely come around on him. I was actually telling Sauce the other day, I don't know why I even dropped off on him in the first place. I was very high on this kid. I've been following Zion since he was in high school. And I thought he was just going to be... I was telling people this guy could be the next LeBron when he was in high school. So I don't know why I dropped off of him anyway. I don't know. I think it's well and truly settled that he's probably the best player so far out of that draft. Ja Morant second, and it's honestly playing second fiddle to Zion is no disgrace in any way, shape, or form. But he's getting better. He's becoming more consistent. And he's looking like he's going to be a scary force to reckon with if he can, as Sauce said, apply all those things that he mentioned to his game and to his craft over the next few years of his career, working his way to his, obviously, his peak, which is that 26 to 30 years of age. So if he can keep building and building and building that momentum, it could even come earlier for a guy like Zion because he's a freakish talent. But if he keeps working hard, you'll get the results. So there you go. All right, let's get to some league leaders, Sauce. Enough on Zion. Your boy, you love him. You got to
talk about him every week if we like.
Well, we can if you want. Points per game. Bradley Beal, 33.2. Embiid, 29.8. Lillard, 29.6. Curry, 29.5. Giannis, 29.2. Rebounds, Clint Capella, 14.1. Drummond, 13.5. Gobert, 13.2. Giannis, 11.8. Vucevic, 11.7. Assists, Harden, still at 11. Westbrook, 9.6. Trae Young, 9.5. Luka the Don, 9. Chris Paul, 9. And blocks, Miles Turner, 3.4. Gobert, 2.8. Capella, 2.3. Nerlens Noel, up to 2. And Boucher on 2. And that is the NBA for this week. Sorted, Saucy. All right. Let's have a breather here for about 2 seconds. All right, let's get into EPL. All right. Man City versus West Ham. It was 2-1. Arsenal beat Leicester 3-1. Very good win. Palace 0-0 draw with Fulham. Newcastle Wolves 1-1. Leeds lost to Villa 1-0. West Brom beat Brighton 1-0. Liverpool beat Sheffield 2-0. United and Chelsea drew 0-0. Spurs beat Burnley 4-0. Everton beat Southampton 1-0. And City, who are going to run away with it, won 4-1. Now, nothing really stood out this week. Maybe a bit of a controversial call, apparently, in that United game with Chelsea. Yeah, could have gone either way, let's be honest. They're both struggling at the moment.
Let's be honest, Domma, this is over. The Premier League season's over. Yeah. 15 points ahead. What?
It's over. And when they beat us this week and they go 18 ahead of us, it's definitely game over.
Let's just have a look back here, Domma. They have won.
Yeah, I know. In all competitions, it's something...
They've won 19 games in a row in all competitions. 19 games. They haven't lost a game. They haven't lost or drawn a game in their last 19.
That is
last time they dropped points, the last time they dropped points or dropped anything, well, dropped points, was on the 16th of December. Last year, they drew 1-1 to West Brom.
So since then, they've had 57 full points scored across all competitions.
They're
Is what you're
well.
telling me.
I just counted back their wins
Yeah, yeah. So
in
what? So
every
what you're telling
competition, everything.
So what you're telling me, across all competitions, 57 points, they've still outscored United by 7 points in second in all competitions.
Pep,
We scored
I'll tell
50
you what,
just in the
were we
Premier League.
wrong at the start of the season when we thought Tottenham and Chelsea, maybe it was their year? Uh,
Oh, we were wrong on that.
uh,
We definitely were.
Old mate Pep Guardiola had something to say about it. And we thought that Man City was going to struggle with a few of their injuries. They had Aguero out for a while. They had De Bruyne. We spoke about
Yeah,
this.
and then Aguero came back and he looked
But it
terrible.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you got the special one on the sidelines, does it, Domma?
No, he's been very, very good. So yeah, they've just been in great form. You've summed that up pretty well. They're home. The matches coming up this week are Burnley versus Leicester, Sheffield versus Villa, Palace versus United, Fulham versus Spurs, West Brom versus Everton, Liverpool versus Chelsea, Burnley versus Arsenal, because there's a few catch-up games in here as well, Saucy. Sheffield versus Southampton, Aston Villa Wolves, Brighton Leicester, West Brom Newcastle, Liverpool Fulham, City United. So United are playing twice this week. Spurs Palace, Chelsea, Everton, West Ham, Leeds is the last one before the next pod. And the table, as Saul said, City on top, 15 points clear. United second with 50. Leicester third. West Ham in that Champions League spot, as Saul said last week. It'd be great to see them blowing bubbles in the Champions League competition next year. Chelsea fifth. Liverpool sixth. Everton seventh. Tottenham up into eighth. Villa down into ninth. Arsenal up into 10th, Leeds down into 11th, then Wolves, Palace, Southampton, Burnley, Brighton, Newcastle round out the final spots before relegation zone, where Fulham is only one game behind Newcastle, West Brom second last, and Sheffield, as we say every single week, are done and dusted. So there's a Premier League, Saucy, all sorted, all done. And we'll move on. Next week, actually, there's a few Champions League games, but we'll cover them on the podcast. All right, Sauce. Quick and easy with that one. Off to UFC. We had some fights, and then we got a nice preview.
So we had UFC Fight Night Rosinku versus Gane in the heavyweight division, where we'll run through the main card. We had featherweight division. Alex Caceres defeated Kevin Kroom in the third round decision. Had in the bantamweight division, Pedro Munez defeated Jimmy Rivera with the third round decision. In the women flyweight, we had Monta de la Rosa versus Maria Buena Silva. Third round decision draw on the judges' scorecards. The light heavyweight division, we had Nikita Kirillov defeated by Magomed Ankalaev within the third round decision. So no big knockouts this week, Domma, on the main card. And we had the heavyweight division, Cyril Gane extends his undefeated streak from 7 to 8 wins,
Nice.
defeating Jarinzu Rosinku in the fifth round decision. And interesting enough, Doma, that actually pushes Cyril Gane up 3 spots in the ranking and pushes Jarinzu Rosinku down 2 spots. So that brings Cyril Gane up to fourth spot from 7th.
Wow.
So massive win. He's 8-0 in his MMA career. So, one to watch out in that heavyweight division. That's for sure.
Now, before you preview this week,
Yep, speak to me.
Yeah, a bit of footage came out this week of John Bon Jones doing some work. He's beefed up, and he just said, he loves being a fat boy at the moment because he's just put on the size, and now he's conditioning himself into fighting form.
He looks scary, Doma.
The scary thing is he's not even conditioned, and he's very, very quick at that weight. So...
I cannot wait to see John Bon Jones fight at heavyweight. He dominated light heavyweight division for years. Took out every single competitor that he stepped in front of, or had stepped in front of him. He just ran straight through them. It's good to see him taking on a new challenge in the heavyweight, and I can't wait for him to get in there and have his first bout. It's going to be exciting stuff, and I genuinely think John Jones will get the title at some point. Just he's that good of a MMA fighter, UFC. So, but if you haven't seen the footage, go watch the footage. It's pretty scary. It's pretty scary how big he looks right now.
He's looking very, very big. He looks like a monster. Anyway, let's preview this week.
So,
what have we got?
Anyone who's not aware, this week we've got. Let me tell you, Domma, a card of cards. UFC 259. Run you through the main card. We'll start it from the bottom. The light heavyweight division, you got Thiago Santos versus Alexander Rakic. In the lightweight division, you got Islam Makhachev versus Drew Dober. In the bantamweight division, which is a title bout in the bantamweight division, you got Peter Yan, the title holder, against Alimin Sterling. Aljamain Sterling, I reckon it is. Aljamain. It's a confusing one, Domma, so I've done pretty good with the names thus far.
I'll give you that.
And then woman flyweight division, you got Amanda, the double champ, Nunes, against Megan Anderson. Let's be honest, Megan Anderson, good luck. Good luck. That's all I got to say. Amanda Nunes is going to knock you out. And light heavyweight division, you got Jan Blackwitz versus Israel Adesanya. Now, Domma, that's going to be a massive, massive, massive fight. Adesanya versus Jan Blackwitz, and it's for the light heavyweight title, I believe. So, Jan is putting his title on the line against Arasanya, who's moved up to the light heavyweight. He's looking to become a double champ, 2-division champion, middleweight and light heavyweight. So let's see if he can get the job done. This is going to be a great fight.
Is it the only other person that has done that is Conor McGregor?
No, you've got Conor McGregor. No, and also I think it's the Triple C. He calls himself Triple C on IG. I think it's Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo. He's also been a double champ. Okay. So I think two guys have done it in UFC history. I believe maybe a third. I'll stand to be corrected, but I know 100% of two, which is Conor McGregor and Henry Cejudo, who's done it as well. So this weekend, ladies and gents, get yourself on the main event. Get yourself UFC Fight Pass, or find it on the realms of the internet. Lock it in. 2 o'clock this Sunday, 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time is the time that the main card kicks off. There is also a prelim card and an early prelim card. I believe there are fights on from 10 a.m. So if you are a UFC head, or you just bored on Saturday morning, I believe the early prelims and prelim cards are generally for free across ESPN, and once they get to the main card, they do switch it over to main event. So tune in this Sunday. Massive.
It's going to be big. Very, very big. Thanks for that, Saucy. All right, now we're going to move on to the Lemon of the week. Sauce. I'm going to pump it up again because, it's your lemon. You're going to jump on this person during the week. I'm going to set the scene for everyone, for the listeners and the viewers, ladies and gents. During the week, Saucy and I, it's probably, when was it? Tuesday morning, Sauce, I'd say. Monday morning. We woke up, just gone through Instagram. Obviously, there's a few rumors on the street that price grades are going to go up for cards. Pricing for grading companies is going to go up. And, Saucy and I, we just gone through IG. Something caught our attention. Not in IG, but over in Clubhouse. So I'm in Clubhouse, in the room, a few people chatting. They're talking about the egg. Don't worry about the egg. We're not going to talk about it on double coverage. That is going to be on crunch time this week. We'll discuss the egg. Anyway, someone jumps in and makes a remark. So I quickly jump over to Instagram, have a look. I'm like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. So I had to message the great man, which gets severely pissed off when people make purchases that are absolutely ridiculous when you can't go out on the market and get a goat for this price. So it frustrates him, and I can understand. But Sauce, the great man who came out this week and bought the Luka Doncic RPA, or Logo Man Auto, 1 of 1 from National Treasures, really annoyed you. I want you to tell the audience why this has annoyed you before you go and give him this week's coveted prize.
Domma, I completely understand the card itself. We know it's a
Yeah,
1 of 1 Logo Man Luka Doncic
I get it.
rookie auto. And we get it. It's a very rare card. There's only one in the whole world. But it's not a $4.6 million card. It's just not. It's just not, Domma. It's just not a $4.6 million card.
So that makes it the most expensive NBA basketball card on the planet to date. And here's the catch for everyone that's listening or watching. If you've been living under a rock and you have not seen this card, it's raw. That's all I'm saying. It's sold for $4.6 million raw.
Yeah. So I seen the sale and I couldn't believe it. I don't understand the money that people have. Let's just, and I'll just throw this out there, and then we're gonna sign this off with the signature phrase. Now we anyone who's not aware of cardladder.com, they actually do this thing where it's called they have a predictive value based off their algorithm that they've got, that they can predict the value of a card that hasn't sold for a long time. So the card I'm looking at here right now is the 2003 Exquisite Collection LeBron James RPA number to 23 gold. Right? There's only 23 in the world. The last sold on this card was back in 2014, recorded sale of 27,000. Now, that was in 2014. Now, we all know what's happened in the card market in the last, 12 months.
And what's happened to LeBron,
and
too.
what's happened to LeBron's cards. They are saying this is a predicted value of 2.53 million. So you are telling me that essentially you can go buy yourself 2 of these LeBron numbered to 23, if you can find them, if anyone's willing to sell them. You can nearly go buy 2 of them for the price of that Luka Doncic. I understand Luka Doncic is a 1 of 1, but this is about as good as it gets as a LeBron RPA, numbered to 23. Right?
Is that raw or graded?
That's raw.
Okay.
Right? So these are comparable. Now, I understand that there's 23 of them. There's only 1 of the Luka Doncic. But if you have a look at all the different Luka Doncic variants compared to LeBron's rookie year, it's pretty similar. I think Luka Doncic might have more variants as well. So, it just doesn't make sense that you'd be paying so much on speculation of a guy in his 3rd season, $4.6 million, when you can literally go buy a RPA of a GOAT for that price. You can go buy a bunch of Michael Jordan autos, numbered autos, for that price, graded and ungraded and whatever the hell you want. For that card to grow significantly from that $4.6 million, you are pretty much saying that Luka Doncic is going to be better than Michael Jordan. Because you're not buying that card for $4.6 million for it to go down to $1 million or $100,000, are you, Domma?
I'll give you a hot tip, all right?
Right?
And I'll give the person that bought the card a hot tip right now. Free, exclusive, no charge. If Luka Doncic does not make the playoffs this year, you overpaid already for that card.
Correct.
You potentially could lose a quarter of the value off the card if he does not make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
or significant decrease. It might not be a quarter, could be 10%. 10% of 4.6 is still 460,000 US dollars. She's still out of pocket $500,000. That's if he doesn't make the playoffs. So let me just put that in perspective for you. If he makes the playoffs and he dominates, yeah, it's probably going to go up. Yeah, if he does what he done in the bubble. But if he doesn't make it to the playoffs, they're sitting in 10th and they're absolutely struggling, mind you. You can put up all the numbers in the world. But as Sauce said a couple of weeks ago, if no one's going to put help around him, he could just wind up being the next James Harden. Just putting up massive numbers, playing no defense and getting nowhere. So that's the hot tip. That's a free piece of advice for everyone out there that is thinking about this card and going, you guys are nuts. It's not even graded. We've discussed this too. It's going to get graded at 10. All right?
Regardless of what it looks like, it's getting graded at 10.
If it goes to PSA, BGS, if it goes to PSA, it's getting a 10. If it goes to BGS, it's probably going to get a black label. And if it goes to anyone else, it's going to get a 10. Just for the fact of the publicity around the grading company saying that there's only one of this card in the world and it's a 10. And we graded that 10. And as I said to Sauce, if that grade's a 10, the card's probably worth in the range of about 15 to 20 million USD, respectively. If we're basing it off Mickey Mantle's card, that's what I'm going based off. And that's not even a 1-of-1, the Mickey Mantle card. I'm just going based off his card was 5 million for a PSA 9. The 10 they said could be close to about 20 million. So I'm just saying, if it gets graded at 10, and the other thing, the Mickey Mantle was graded at 9, and it was worth that much, the Luke is raw, and it's only $1 million less.
Yeah.
So
look, when you talk about it like that, when you look at all the other options that you've got to buy cards, why the hell would you pay 4.6? I'm not saying don't go buy the card, but this is not a $4.6 million card. There is so many better things in the hobby.
Card's sick.
There are so many better things or better options, safer options there are to spend $4.6 million than buy a Luka Doncic 1-of-1 logo man. And for spending $4.6 million on that, whoever you are, sir, I don't know, I've seen your bonds on Instagram. For spending $4.6 million on that Luka card, you, sir, are a lemon!
There you go. The lemon of the week. Congratulations. I'd take the lemon of the week over the Luka anytime for that much money. So anyway, let's get into hobby talk. And we kind of will stay on this topic to an extent. One of our great lemons on this show came out again and he made a comment. Now, Sauce and I discussed this when we gave him Lemon of the Week, and then, we said he made some valid points. But you know what? He actually made... It's just the way that he comes across and articulates himself, in my opinion, Sauce, is the thing that is bloody... That's the thing that hurts him. All right? Honestly, the way he articulates himself... I'm going to read it because I'm going to get him up. I can't find him because I typed in Lemon, Dave. It didn't come up, Sauce. All right, here it is. All right? Where the fuck's this thing now? He put that picture of that card up, yeah, and he captioned it, "What is wrong with people nowadays?" Okay, that's fine. 4.6 million. Laugh emojis. There is absolutely no upside to this. Well, there is. If he makes the playoffs, it's going up. And he's wrong there because the upside to it is he can just go get the card fucking graded and then list it and make triple his money or double his money regardless. So there is upside to it. If you're in the market, sell, he says. Sell while people with money are being absolutely stupid. Agree or disagree. He's wrong with the upside part on the card, but he's right in terms of like the money that is getting spent on some of these cards is absolutely stupid and dumb. And there is an opportunity while these cards are getting bought for these ridiculous prices and people are buying all these ridiculous cards, there's opportunity at the lower end of the scale to enter the market now and capitalize. And this all comes with research, as we keep saying. There's so many cards out there. So many. Source has gone and seen a whole bunch of them this week. A whole bunch of them. He's purchased a couple, got them for next to nothing. Next to nothing. Almost the grading cost as much as, well, grading now costs as much as what he paid for some of these cards. You just got to do your research. So he's right to an extent. Again, he doesn't know how to articulate himself. As simple as that. But he was stupid saying there's no upside to the card. He's got no idea on that because clearly there is. As I just said, he just goes and gets it graded and happy days. There's plenty of upside to be made. All right. Now, Source. Far out. The rumor on the street has been confirmed. Prices for grading companies such as PSA and Beckett have increased. Now, there's a lot of things that have been floating out there, things that we've heard through reports, things that you and I have heard through Clubhouse, things that you and I have heard through DMs and comments, and all right, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, doesn't matter. We have also heard, screenshot came out, Nat Turner talking to a person. Don't know if it's verified, 100% it's real. Because you can always doctor a profile picture into a conversation. But confirmed or not, the backlog was $5 million because it was rumored to be 5 million cards. Now the rumor is it's at 10 million cards.
I said 8 million just the other week. So I was not far off.
So, yeah, 10 million. Yeah, well, exactly. You did say that. 10 million. All right? Now, the pricing is to do what, Source? We're going to have a brainstorm because I'm not here trying to convince anyone anymore. I'm done. Source and I are done trying to convince people PSA this, they're mediocre, that, blah, blah, blah. We're done. It's a fight, yeah, that we're not. It's a battle we're not worth having anymore. The Cannes Film Festival video is still coming out, mind you. So
yeah, I've just been lazy on that point, but you know, I just think once people see that, and when I point that out, then maybe people will shed another light on this whole situation.
I think till you get burnt, then you'll realise. But until then, Source, give us an insight on what you think this whole price rise is going to do to the market.
Yeah, so first and foremost, I'm guessing PSA and BGS's thought process behind this is to raise. Obviously, they can't keep up with the demand at their current prices. People are still happy to send in their base cards that they picked up for a couple bucks and whatever, and potentially send them in for it to make for them to be able to flip it and make a bit of profit. Maybe the cards end up being $80 to $100, $50 to $100. When you're sending it in at $12 or $14 or something, or whatever it was before, $12.50 or something, and then it potentially gets a 9, and then you can sell that card for 50. If it gets a 10, you can sell that for 110, 150. These base cards, I'm guessing they're trying to get people to sub these lower end cards less, therefore hoping that they can then move through the cards that they currently do have. Now, I just think, unfortunately, based off a company that's just had, all these investors, coming on board, and
put up money, collateral,
and their revenue numbers being at all-time highs for grading for their company, that they can't expand quick enough to keep up with the demand. I just find it hard to believe that they can't come up with a solution to get things under wrap, and I'm not here to tell their company of how to run your company, but maybe an idea is to actually suspend submissions for 1 month so that you can
work through
all your resources on the 10 million card backlog, and maybe get that down to a 1 million card backlog. I think it's not the right mentality to go, well, we can't actually grade everything, so we want people to grade less stuff, but we still want to make the same amount of money. That's essentially what they're doing,
Yeah.
right?
Now, yeah.
So, um,
I've got my little theory on this.
in my opinion, I think it's, that's the wrong mentality. Um, Unfortunately, where we are in the hobby, grading. If you wish to flip cards, grading is the way to go. You should be grading,
Yeah,
just
100%.
because how much potential ROI you can create for yourself, and then maybe you use that money to buy a PC card, or use that money to invest in other cards to create uh, more income for your other cards or other purchases, or to flip cards to take the money out and buy other stuff. Who knows? But
100%.
I just I don't agree with it.
I love
I
you.
don't agree with their mentality. But what can we do at this point? We knew that everyone knew that the price. If you didn't think that by them taking over, by them going private, by them paying out all this money, that they weren't going to raise the prices, you are a fool. You are a fool. Because
Now,
it,
now,
if you literally go back 14 months or 15, 16 months, it was $8, or 24 months, 16, whatever, right? Something like that, right? Let's just say 2 years. It was
you said on this fucking podcast when that happened, you said they put up the price 50% when they went to a certain price, and you said, do you think that's your value for money, that a company can go from a 6 month period and raise their price by that? And people were happy with that. And since then, in less than 6 months now, Source, they've upped it again.
So their lowest rate is $20 a card now. $20 a card. And that
That's
turnaround
okay.
time on that $20 rate is 8 to 12 months.
Now, Source, I just want to give some people some insight into what I told you I
And
think
now,
personally is
and
going to
that's
happen.
PSA, and BGS lowest rate is 38.
Fuck.
38 USD a card.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Yeah, just quickly, Joel, in the comments on YouTube here, as we're live, shout out to you. He appreciates the story share we gave him on Insta. Yep. Anytime, mate. We thank you for your support. You have been one of the constants since the beginning, so we appreciate that, mate. So, quick discussion we had, Sauce and I, when all this stuff happened, and we're trying to wrap our head around this stuff, and Sauce was telling me a few things like, it's not going to, PSA's whole mentality of potentially, like, you go to get your card graded now, and based on the grading price, some people are only going to make $7 out of a card, or $10 out of a card, and they're losing money now, essentially, because they have to go buy the card, then they grade it. They essentially probably only make $1 or $2. Yeah, for some cards. Now, I said this a while ago, and I said when we're talking about the grading thing and the backlog, and we said that people in the hobby need to wake up, because you know if we actually all banded together and weren't like, I don't know, such followers to these grading companies, we'd have all the power as the people in the hobby, because without us, the grading companies would be nothing. So I don't know. I just used my logic and came up with my thought on what's going to happen. I don't know if anyone's been following it, but we've actually been doing this to an extent with the egg card. So if you don't know what happened, the card was worth 60 cents, and then people were trying to raise the price of it to then sell it, make some money, and then donate portions of that to underprivileged kids and give back to the community and to the hobby. Yeah, so they've got that 60-cent card now raw. You can get it for 350 USD, because the power of the people in the hobby. Let me bring you back now to my point. So if we have the power to do that, what's to say we don't have the power in the hobby to raise the price of all PSA 9 cards, to make it to a convenient level where we can go sub our cards still, just low-end cards, and get it back and still double our money? Instead of making just a couple dollars, we can just go double our money again. What's to say we can't raise the prices on that? We've dictated the market to this point to boxes, inserts on the secondary market. We're the ones that dictate that. There's no overarching body that says, Zion rookies are worth this much. Jar rookies are worth this much. Shaq is worth this much. You and I, me and Sauce, everyone in the hobby, are the people dictating this. And I'm just telling you, PSA, if there's someone from PSA, not a head honcho, could be a grader or something that has seen us in Clubhouse, could be listening to this, maybe make your management aware that when people want to make money in this hobby, they will make money in this hobby. Whether that means grabbing a PSA Zion, which could be a $7 profit when they go grade it, and your price hikes now, BGS or PSA or whatever, is trying to deter people from sending these low-grade cards in to get graded because it's not worth it, because you're going to see no returns. Why can't we just raise the value of the raw card, which then extends to the value of the graded card? What's to say that the PSA doesn't become the new PSA 8 becomes the PSA 9 now? So you get your small return on the PSA 8 if it gets an 8 or an 8.5, and the PSA 9 is double your money. And then the 10s become more valuable. What's to say we can't do that? I know you're all going to sit here, you're listening or you're watching, and you're going to say, Dom, you're looking into it. But, Source did say they raised the value of the price by 50%. And everyone said, no, it's okay. It's not going to go up again. And Source said, that's okay. You can believe that as much as you want because it's going to go up again within the next 6 months. And you know what? It didn't even take 6 months this time and it went up again. So, you know what? You can sit there and you can watch us and you can say we're looking into it too much and, you've got too much time on your hands. Or you could say maybe they're ripping us off and nothing's going to change. 10 million cards is not going away like this.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. People come in here
it's not just going to disappear.
And Nat Turner says, yeah, first point of call is getting rid of the backlog. Yeah, good luck.
Like that.
Good luck. Everyone knew you were getting this price hike, so they all sent their cards so they can get them in before you price hiked. And heaps of people. There was probably another 5 million cards added to the backlog just this week. Because everyone knew about this price hike was coming. The word on the street was out, from, a few weeks ago. Probably everyone sort of knew around about 10 days ago. And, we've spoken to guys on Clubhouse. One guy, how much was his grading bill he sent? He sent $81,000 his grading bill was. This one guy we spoke to on Clubhouse. And that was to get it all in before the price hike. Now, if he got it in after the price hike, that was probably about $180,000 bill instead.
Joel's put something in the comments here, Source. I'm going to read it out because he makes a freaking good point. Because this is something that we keep saying to you, and people just still don't want to listen. Joel said he saw someone's story on Instagram, and they described that if they were to grade a LaMelo rookie, it won't be back till he's towards his third year in the league. Third year in the league. What happens if he's a bust? And this is what we keep saying.
He did mention there that on that $20 sub, which is the lowest, I said 8 to 12 months, and they've stated that as a minimum. So it's 8 to 12 months minimum, and it could be up towards 18 months by you getting that card back that you've sent on a $20 sub.
Wow.
If you honestly, you could really take that $20 and spend it so many better ways. I mean, I'm literally seeing.
Well, I'll tell you how good it is, Source. Yeah, I rather take. Listen to this mentality. Yeah, and tell me if I'm stupid. I'd rather take 3 months. Yeah, 3 months of my time every week for 3 months, trying to sub my card to HGA, and I'll miss out. Yeah, every day for 3 months. But then when I get in the sub line, I'll get it back in a week. Or I can submit it to PSA and get it back in 12 to 18 months. So I can try every week to get in the line to sub it and miss out for 3 months, and I'll still get it back in time quicker. Why the hell wouldn't you do that? And this brings me to my next point. This is going to open the door for HGA, and they are laughing. They came out and stated they're not going to raise their prices because they're a well-oiled machine at the moment. They are building their capacity for card grading based on the limitations of their company and what they can and can't provide to their customer.
And they aren't being greedy.
And the thing is as well, when you come out as a company, and you state on launch that customer service is your number one guarantee, and that if orders are stuffed up, they're going to pay for the charges on the company instead of you paying it. You're going to get refunded your money. That sets them to a high standard. So now everyone coming into the hobby expects that of them. So if they drop the ball on that, they potentially are finished as a company.
Yeah.
Because they set the bar up here.
Yeah, correct.
So, as I keep saying, just think about that. I could try and submit my card for 3 months, not get in the door. Week 1 of the 4th month, I might get in line and get my card graded and get it back in 3.5, like at the 3.5 month mark. But it's only a week. You get it back in a week, or
well, you can put it on a 30-day, mate. They're doing their 30 days. They're getting them back to people in 20, 25 days. So,
or you could do that, or I could submit my card to PSA or BGS, and it'll take 8 to 12 minimum.
I'm still waiting for cards that I sent out on a 45-day to BGS from July 23rd last year, Dom.
All right? I'm just saying. So just think about that a little bit. All right? Just let that sink in. Just think about that. All right? I'm just saying, when Tyler and HGA, hopefully all going well, start getting 10,000 subs a week, and they can fulfill that order, while PSA and BGS are still trying to deal with grading and their backlog. So you're telling me by the time winter comes around, whatever that is, I think it's October. July is summer. I think it's around September, October over in America. So you're telling me by then you're going to have at least wiped out half to 75% of your backlog at PSA.
Dreaming.
7.5 million cards. You're going to tell me you've wiped off your backlog. So no one's going to send cards in. That's all I'm saying. So just think about it a bit. All right? Think about the price hikes. These are the things we want you to think about. The price increase from $8 is now $20 for a PSA card on a minimum. BGS's price is going up. The wait times. And the fact that you could submit, even if you try and sub for 6 months with HGA, and then you got it in after bloody 6.5 months, you're still getting your card back before the minimum date requirement of a PSA submission, which is 8 months, is the minimum. All right? You'd still get it back. So that's all I'm saying. Just think about that stuff. As we said, we're not fighting with you anymore. There's no point. Everyone's has got their mind made up. So if you're going to keep believing, as a great person in my life once told me, my father, he said to me, don't believe what you hear, believe what you see. All right? So all we've heard from PSA is this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing, blah, 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 this is what we're doing. And what have we seen? Jack shit. We've seen nothing. All right? So you keep living in your bubble, unfortunately.
The price hikes are not going to do jack shit. They're going to make more money than ever. People are still going to send their cards. It might deter people to sending some cards, but they've got 10 million cards in backlog and ain't going to improve. And I genuinely just don't like the way they've gone about it. Both companies, not just PSA, also BGS. The amount of money that they're making, they should be doing better. The fact that they haven't had advancements and implemented technology sufficiently to help with the process is pretty poor. If you ask me, it's pretty poor. And I genuinely don't think this gets better. If it does get better, it's going to be 12 plus months before it even if it does get better. And I'm not holding my breath, Dom. I'm not holding my breath.
We've held it this long and nothing's happened.
Exactly,
so you might as well take the breath, mate. So
that's exactly right.
All right, we've got a few other things to get through here. Just a few upcoming releases and products that have been released. So certified now on the market. Forgot to mention that last week. Donruss is now basketball. This is now out. Revolutions is dropping on the 5th of March, which is, what's that, 2 days? In 2 days? Yeah, 2 days from the recording of this podcast. Absolute is on the 10th of March, which is next week. And Prism, we've got to look at that. Your thoughts on the card source?
Oh, they're nice. They're the same design as the 2020 NFL Prism football. So they've just taken the card design off, and I actually like that card design better
So do I.
than the 1920 card design. I think it looks better. So obviously, the hype for Prism is real. Um,
And that's
be
looking
on
at.
top if you are an Australian listener. Make sure you are on top of the pre-orders that would be
Like,
coming out across the major retails.
you'll
And
probably see him in the next few weeks.
yeah,
The pre-order.
I would be making sure that you're checking those companies daily to make sure that if they are going to do like a countdown timer, that you're aware of it. These sorts of things, and as we've stated, you're going to be fighting bots, so you are going to need to be at the ready. Make sure that you have all of your autofills and stuff filled out in your Chrome tab or your Chrome add-on. So, yeah, if you want
Definitely.
to have any chance of getting any at retail.
Definitely. And if you want more info, obviously, on the botting, go listen to some previous podcasts, but you can also jump in and listen to Crunch Time episode 2, where we went into that pretty in depth with Anthony Collects and Mast. So, yeah, tune into that one. Also, F1 Tops has been delayed. Obviously, it was meant to come out in November, meant to come out December. We went searching for this, and it looks like 7th of April is the dates. Also, hello to Cards, Guns, and Collectibles. How you going in the chat? So, yeah, 7th of April, it looks like for that. And then we had a few releases this week here in Australia. AFL cards. Footy Stars Select came out. And Team Coach, AFL Team Coach, which both products look good. I'm not going to diss any of them. But Team Coach in particular, I'm going to give a nice mention to them for 2 reasons. And this is, Saul said this. He said, why can't Panini and Tops, and you said this, remember? You're like, why can't we get some card artists, like well-known card artists, to come in and design cards for these products? And you said it. And we thought, yeah, we didn't think we were going to see it in on our home soil, mate, before it went to the international market for a mainstream release, that is, not for obviously the custom limited print run cards that these artists do. But Team Coach have really, 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 really stepped up their game.
They have.
Their arts look really good, and they've got Tyson Beck, friend, and we consider him family member of the Double Coverage podcast, to design the best and fairest cards for the Team Coach set. And mind you, I can understand why Team Coach has been pumping the content out on their socials for these cards. They look fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. They are a hollow refractor type card, and they look really, really good. Joel, not an AFL guy, but love that they ripped off Kaboom. Yeah, with the bang cards, that's in Footy Stars. They got bang cards. They're just a Kaboom, but it just says bang. I think we do that because that's the terminology we use when people do stuff in sports. But this is the whole thing about Select, and we said this about them as a company. They've got to look at Panini and Tops and Upper Deck, and they've got to take ideas to improve their products. And the same with Team Coach, and they've both done this.
Yeah, they have.
Team Coach have also thrown it back to old school. I remember collecting these cards when I was a kid, the glow-in-the-dark cards. When I was a kid in the 90s, I don't know what the product was. I just know my cousin used to have them. On the back, it used to make a picture when you had the whole set, but on the front, it was like a cool little cartoon-looking caricature version of the player, but they glowed in the dark, and they've brought those back into into Team Coach. So it's a nice homage, I guess, to that old set, and I like that. Reinventing it, making it look more modern, but also having that feel. I understand Footy Stars and Team Coach are more for the younger audience, but let's be honest. If I see some 2021 Team Coach and Footy Stars, I'm going to go out and buy a $3 packet if I can get my hands on them. As Saucy and I have said, and I think AFL is going to take a big, big, big step.
Yeah, I think
Big
I
step.
think people will be mildly surprised down here in Australia the
Big step.
direction. I mean, I've seen Cherry have a few case breaks of Footy Stars, select Footy Stars up on their site,
They went.
sold out
Gone.
pretty much in the first 30 minutes. These case breaks. So I think it's going to be a hot season of AFL cards. I believe selectors got something in the works. I think
I like it.
might be the I stand to be corrected, but it might be their last
Potentially.
season with the license. Could be. I believe
Could be. I think it's up for
it's
tender.
up for tender at the end of this season, so they'd want to probably make it a good one. Hope that they can
Hey,
really get a lot of money out of this year of product. That way, that they've got a significant amount to bid for that license at the end if they wish to keep it, or else they could be in danger of losing
this.
it. So,
Hey, and this sauce, as we said, is the low. Like this is the low grade product for Select, as we said when we said we put that pyramid scheme in place for Select when we're going with their products. This is their low grade because it's the first release product of the year,
yeah,
uh, and it looks good, looks quality. So all the best to both of those AFL products. Obviously, both different companies, but looking forward to seeing what's next there. Uh, yes, we are from Australia. To the person in the comments,
if you
doing what
haven't
we
noticed
do
by the
down
accent.
here. Yeah. uh, let's move on. Actually, Logan Paul's live stream source. Few interesting things in there. $1 million box. He pulled over 2 million USD worth of cards. He pulled two Zards in there. Um, Ken Gold
Crazy stuff, though, man.
on
Crazy
the
stuff.
the winter auction at the moment on Golden Auctions has two Zards on there, both PSA 10. It's the first time two PSA 10s have been listed of that card. As we know, the SGC 10 is the all time for Charizard
Correct.
in sales. I think this card, as we know, the bids ramp up towards the end of the auctions, which next week. I think it's
And it's
in
got
4 days.
golden auctions actually run on extended bidding, so bidding can actually go past the time that's finished as long as bidding keeps getting continued,
Yeah.
until someone
Now,
taps out in the end.
there's a few things that happen in this. I'm excited for one thing. All right, I'll get to the thing I'm excited about in a sec. I'm annoyed. I'm excited about one thing. I'm annoyed about one thing, and I'm indifferent on one thing. All right. So I'm annoyed that this is what I'm annoyed at. Okay. The set is first edition Charizard base set. All right. That's the title of the card. Base set, whatever it is. First edition base set Charizard. All right. Card number, whatever it is. All right. And I'm annoyed that Logan Paul's getting his own label for the card. All right. And people don't listen to me and go, oh, you know what? You're sucking it up. He's getting his own label. You're jealous. I'm not jealous. It's just when the card's slabbed and listed like that, that's not exactly what the card is. Do you understand what I'm saying? What's to say Rob G, who went and bought Mickey Mantle, why can't he go get a specialized PSA label made now that says Mickey Mantle 51 card, whatever it is, owned by Rob G as the owner? Is that going to raise the value of the card? Probably will. But do you understand what I'm saying, Source? It's not the exact correct listing of the
Yeah,
card. We're making a gimmick out of this shit now
yeah, we
to
are,
an
we
extent,
are.
right? Which is the thing that annoys me. All right. The thing that I'm indifferent about is Ken Golden, God love him, said um, in the live stream when he had it, like Logan gives him the two Zards and he has a look at them, and one of them, he said they're both in great nick, and they're probably both going to get PSA 10s. Let's be honest. So they're going to be in the Logan Paul special label. But Logan asked on one of the cards. Ken may have said him for both, but he said it for one of the cards. He goes, oh, is it PSA 10 worthy? Logan said. And Ken Golden said, if PSA doesn't give this card a 10 as a joke, I'm going to go down there myself and give him a piece of my mind. So that's the thing I'm indifferent on. Yeah, influence. Sauce and I have been talking about this for a while now. It's like we're not too happy about that stuff. Like the influence of people with status dictating grades and values. Now, the thing I am happy about, Sauce, the thing I'm very happy about, I'm going to be right. I said the card was going to get to $1 million. And I'm going to be dead on the money. Because this, as Ken Golden said in the live, he goes, oh, your card with your label is going to go for more than the PSA 10 that he's currently selling on his auction house. So I'm hoping that this card goes for, on his auction house, for 600,000 USD. Oh no, what's the record? The record's more than
No, I think the record's only 450 or 550.
450.
450,
Yeah,
I think it is. So
I want it to go for about 600 to 650,000 USD. This is what I want the card to go for. All right. Then I want, because they're coming back 10. Yeah. All right. Who are we kidding here? They're coming back 10. Even if one doesn't come back 10, the person, all right, share this to the two people that got the Zards. This segment, this clip right here. For the fact of me being right, whoever gets the 10, send it to Ken. List that card. That card is going to get well and truly above 800,000 USD, which is $1 million card. Because as Saucy and I said, we care about the AUD, $1 million. That's a milli card. It potentially could get to $1 million USD. But all I'm saying is I'm happy about it all because it's getting there.
Because
it's getting to $1 million.
You're gonna be right.
It is because you know when that card. Here's a hot tip for anyone out there. You know when that card is 100% going to get listed when they officially announce all the products for the 25th anniversary for the TCG. This is coming out. That's coming out. And the hype of the 25th anniversary was Pokemon Day during the week. You know what I mean? In the hype of it all, bang, this card appears in the next auction period on Ken Golden. It's getting to $1 million. So that's the part I'm happy about. The way it's getting there, I'm indifferent about. And the way it's getting there, I'm upset about, as I said, those three things. Because I don't like that label. Why the hell do I want that label?
It's making a whole mockery of grading. Let's be honest.
Like,
you know, and the fact that it could potentially draw a medium, like a premium, draw a premium because it has Logan Paul on the label. It's bonkers. You know, there is no reason that value on that card should be, you know, an extra $100,000 or an extra $150,000 just because Logan Paul pulled it in his box break. Like
cards in the comments said Logan Paul can fight, so that's all right. But if you just want to, I'm a bit confused on what you're saying here. Phil pulls a PSA 6, Mike Trout got it resubbed and it came back at 10. Can you give us a bit more insight? If you want to hit us up on DMs on Instagram, you can give us a bit of insight.
He must be talking about Phil Pools, the bloke who baseball player who pulls. He does box breaks now, I believe, on YouTube. I believe that's what he's talking about. Cards and Guns in the comments. He's just saying that he cracked a PSA 6 and sent it in to get subbed, and it came back at 10, which is, you know, we're going down a rabbit hole. If we're talking about that sort of stuff. I mean,
we've spoken about that.
I've seen the amount of different cracks, and I've seen crackings between multiple companies and everything, and it's just it's a big fuckery, and that's why I say, you know, it's when AI grading is the norm. I think, you know, a lot of this cracking and resubbing rubbish will stop because the AI really should grade the card correct all the time. And, you know, you've got these companies, not like HGA, who say that to grade under AI correctly, you actually need to have a clean card. So they clean the card for you before they grade it under the AI. Whereas PSA, if you've got a dirty, oily thumbprint, they don't give a fuck. They'll just whack a 7 on it, and then you'll go, oh, there's a thumbprint on it, crack it, and resend it because they want more money, right? So they're not even providing you with a quality service at the end of the day. So until AI becomes the norm, where you can't where you have to clean the card to get sufficient grading or to get accurate grading,
We just got
then
to deal with it.
we've got to deal with this junk, and that's what I keep saying.
Anyway, but it was a good live stream. He pulled some massive cards, Logan. He pulled the two Zards, 3 Chances, the Blastoise, the Venusaur. What else he pulling that?
And just a quick note, if anyone thinks that the Pokemon market's cooling down, you think again it's about to ramp up. It hasn't even started. Well, it has. Exactly. It has started, slowly started, but it's gonna go bananas. And let's just, I think the first look will be that golden auction that ends, I believe, next Sunday.
Yeah.
So it will be Monday here in Australia, Sunday over in the States.
It'd be interesting to see. There's also some very nice cards in there. We've obviously got the BGS Black Label Kobe in there. There's a couple Fleer Jordans. What else? We've got some LeBron Exquisites in there. What else did I see in there? There's a Justin Herbert 1-of-1 in there. I'll be interested to see what that goes for as well, Sauce. That Herbie 1-of-1. There's a couple other things. So just go on there to Golden Auctions and actually go through. There's some cards on there listed. I think there's another Mickey Mantle on there as well. I think it's a PSA 8. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But let's move on to a quick shout out. Obviously, we interviewed Sam Conrad's _ sports cards, formerly known as, on Saturday, and one of the best interviews I reckon Sauce and I have ever had. He was fantastic. This is a kid that's 16 years of age. He's phenomenal. He's just a world of knowledge when it comes to the hobby and content creation. But just wanted to say, check out that podcast if you haven't listened to it already. But massive, massive, massive congratulations to him. He is now known as Luca Nation _ Conrad. He's joined the Luca Tigers bronze team, and we wish him the world of success, Saucy. So that's it. That's it for Hobby Talk. And now, the most anticipated segment of the show. Sauceys Smokey. Give it to us.
Oh, Domma. What an absolute week it has been. In light of... There's no one card that I'm going to give you guys right now. It's more of a tip in this direction. And just, do with it what you will. This is I wouldn't call it a smoky in terms of a card. I'm talking... This is just how I feel about the market in general. Obviously, we can talk about we've talked extensively about the PSA and BGS price rises. Now, as soon as I heard that, I went on eBay and I started literally buying every PSA 9 card that was $20. That's a base rookie. Not every single one, but guys that I like. There's ones you can get between $20 and $30. Now, when the card costs $20 to grade and you get it back in 12 months, right? It makes no sense to me that these cards at a PSA 9 should be $20 to $30, right? I just think there's a few guys out there that you can go pick up. Have a look at the PSA 9 market. Have a look at the BGS 9 market. BGS the cost to grade is $38 now. So if you can pick up a BGS 9 of a base rookie that someone subbed for $30, well, essentially you're getting that card on a 9 level for less than the cost that it costs to grade it. And on the PSA 9 side, I mean, there's so many, because a lot of these guys graded these rookies when there was $11 to cost to grade the card, or $12. They might have bought the rookie card for $1, so they're making, $6-7 on the card, maybe $10. Now, with the price hike in the card, it costs $20 to grade. And now a lot of people probably aren't going to be grading these, these rookies these optic rookies, these some of the Prism rookies, unless there's a significant price jump in these 9s and 10s. And this is where it brings it back to Domma, where maybe the market shifts and there's more value based off these 9s because it's taking 12 plus months to get your bulk orders back. Because you're not going to send a $1 to $7 card on a quicker service, because you're not going to make money on the return, right? So you're going to send it on the bulk service, which is taking 12 months, right? 8 to 12 months minimum, potentially 18 months, right? So now that this is the case, I think a lot less people will be subbing these cards unless they genuinely think, 100% it's a gem mint. So it's an opportunity to go pick up these 9s of these base rookies. Some guys that I was picking up today, I'll just run it through. I mean, I this is what I bought, and this is just today. This is literally just today. I bought this stuff. So I bought I made an offer on a Jaren Jackson optic base PSA 9 rookie for $30, and the guy accepted it, and then he cancelled the order because I was from Australia, and I told him, well, mate, I could have sent it to my cards, and anyway, he wants to sell it back to me again, so I'm probably going to buy that for $30, right? Then I bought a Jaren Jackson Prism, Select Optic, Jaren Jackson Select Scope card rookie PSA 9 for $70. When I had a look at the raw prices were $65 the last sold, so it doesn't make sense to me the fact that I'm getting a graded card for the five bucks extra. You know what I mean? $5 extra. I'm getting the PSA 9 on top. You get what I'm saying? So I think that again, people are going to be hesitant, even though it's a $60 card. You send that in, and then it only adds $5 extra of value. In what world, with the price rise in the grading, is that make sense? So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Then I bought a PSA 9 Optic Holo Cam Reddish for $50, and that was at one point they were going for 40 to 50 raw. So and that card was once a over $100 card. So there was another one, and then the last card that I picked up was a Bam Adebayo PSA 9 status freshman signature. It's a sticker auto PSA 9, and the funny thing is, Domma, I went card was, and there was like a raw that sold for like 57. So essentially, I'm just paying just under that $20 for the grading. But when you have a look at it, what incentive does that person have to grade that card if it comes back a 9 and it only adds, it doesn't even add any value based off the last raw sale?
Yeah, and that's what I was saying to you. That's why the people in the hobby now have the ability to push the value of those cards higher, to have it as a base price for the 9s, so they can actually make money. That's the point that I was trying to push across in Hobby Talk. But great purchases there. Honestly, you bought literally a Jaren Jackson raw card with a grading cost of $5.
Yeah.
You bought a Cam Reddish for a grading price of $5 because you said it was going for about 40 to 45 raw.
Well, at one point they were going for 40. Yeah. At the moment they're going for about 25 raw. But okay. Not for anything, if you go have a look back at the graphs, they was doing significantly higher than that, and his market's come down a hell of a lot because he's injured as well. So potentially take of it what you will. I think Cam Reddish could potentially be the overall Smokey out of this because his prices have dropped a hell of a lot. But where I'm directing people is PSA 9 market. Literally the PSA 9 market. With the cost of grading going up, now a lot of these cards, people aren't going to grade these other cards, so picking them up now could potentially mean that the pop stays low on this stuff because people aren't going to see the value in grading it unless the 9s themselves get a bump in the market, which, hey, we've seen crazier things. I mean, we've got an egg card that's freaking up 3,000% in the last 2 weeks. So, what's to say that all the 9s in the market, based off the increase in grading prices, don't start to rise up? So, I just think it's an interesting play. Like, I've got a whole bunch of base Prism, and, there's no point, rookies, there's no point me sending any of these fringe guys because, if they get 9s, what value am I making? You know, I bought some of these cards $3-4. You have to send that in for 20 USD so from here it's probably about $28. So that's like a $34, and then you get it, and then it's only worth 34 USD. What, you're gonna make $3? Is, you know,
Exactly
$3 to
right.
$5, $3 to $8. It doesn't make sense. So it just makes more sense to me to grade them. And last note, another possible play could be is signing up to StarStock, creating a StarStock account, buying these cards on eBay in America, and sending them directly to StarStock from eBay as a PSA 9 in these base rookies, and flipping them on StarStock, because as we know, StarStock is meant to be like the player performance day trading platform. So if these players do have a performance, you know, you have potential to sell it on that platform, and their reach is massive because you know, they're marketed well, and a lot of people know about them, and they only take 5% of the sales. So you also make more money in the end, and potentially you could then get involved in the StarStock platform. So I think it's probably a better buy to buy some of these rookies for $20 to $30 as a PSA 9 and send them straight to StarStock, then flip them on StarStock, than it is to buy that same card on StarStock at a PSA 9 and then flip it on StarStock, because you can actually get them cheaper on eBay and then send them to StarStock where they're actually more value. So, yeah, I think that's the Smokey this week, and that's where I've been looking. So, you know, ladies and gents out there, let me know what you guys think of it.
Bang. I like it. Glad we've got you on this show. It's a great play source. Honestly, it really is. Sometimes logic is the answer to everything, to be honest. But that's Sauceys Smokey. Before I do sign off, though, big thank you to everyone that's been in the comments tonight. It's been awesome. Also, if you like what you hear over here, once it comes out in audio format, if you could share the podcast out, it would be awesome. And if you want some more content from us through podcast form, you can join us on Crunch Time with at Anthony Collects and at Mars Sports Cards. So Anthony and Luke, that usually films at some stage this week and comes out usually on Saturday here, Friday on in the States. And the last thing for Aussie listeners, or US listeners, if you can get into the country, on the 21st of March at Melbourne Town Hall in Melbourne, there will be a card show. You need just search it up. Gimco are running it.
Melbourne
it's
Card
$6.
Fair, it's called. So you can search that on Facebook in the search bar, and you will find a link. Not for anything, I'll also chuck a link in the description to it, so to the Facebook event. So
and also
you
the
can find
Comic Con. And the Comic Con pop-up is this weekend.
in Sydney.
So in Sydney. So if you want to chuck that also in the comments for anyone that listens that are from New South Wales or the Sydney area, head on down there. We will mention again on Crunch Time, but Anthony's going to be there at Anthony Collects. He said he's going to probably pop down, so you can meet up with him, network with him, and have a good chat about some cards. So that's it from us. Another week down. Appreciate you being in here and listening to us. It's been Dom with the Great Man Sauce. Keep living, loving, and breathing all sports. It's double coverage, and peace.
Peace out, ladies and gents.
Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to leave a review on the Apple Podcasting app. Also, follow us on socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Talking all sports, double coverage.